What up, Nation? I'm Var here with another DCUO test server video looking at the changes to come in episode 41, and we're talking basically about the stat clamp. We're comparing what kind of clamping and buffing is happening in different zones based on tier, and the question was brought up, and it was a really good question in the chat of one of the videos. Toxic Shadow was asking about if you're a combat rating, for example 60, and you queue up for different tier missions, is it going to raise your combat rating for those missions and your SP and make it so you can do them? And then what is the difference going to look like between a low tiered player with low SP going into those missions? What's their buff look like versus what does the downscaling look like from someone who's full tier, overpowered, and going into those same missions? So that's this series. That's what we're going to do now, and it's going to basically be a two video series, but we're going to show a low CR toon with the buffs that it gets, and we're only going to be able to do solo content because unfortunately on test there are just not enough people playing to queue for something and actually get into a mission. So I'm going to just go into a solo mission for each tier with a toon with low CR and low SP and show you the difference between its buff versus the clamp that a character at top tier, pretty much max CR gets. We're gonna do one at a time. So today we're gonna start with the low tier toon. The next video we're gonna do is gonna be the higher tier toon, and basically the finale. We're gonna come to our conclusion on this discussion, or I am. You guys are definitely left to continue talking about it. So one thing I want to point out is we are live on PC test right now. I am not manipulating these numbers in any way to try and prove any kind of a point. I am simply showing you what the numbers are, and most likely, because nothing is ever set in stone, everything is being worked on test server right now. So just because it's this way today doesn't mean it's going to be this way when it goes live. There's a fair, it's fair to say it will be similar, but the numbers aren't set in stone. So I'm in no way trying to prove or disprove anything right now. I just want to show you what the numbers are, because I didn't really understand that this is what was happening. When I heard of the stat clamp, I thought, okay, higher tiered players are going to be clamped based on, when they're going into lower level content to make things more fair. I get that. I was not understanding that lower tier players were going to be buffed. So this is new to me, and I'm just looking at it essentially, and I thought you guys, who some of you may not have access to PC test, would like to look at it too. So that's why I'm sharing. So this is a toon who I have dumped all the SP out of. She's a combat rating 40. I actually went to the vendor. I got combat rating 40. I got gear that would make me a combat rating 40. It's all low tier gear. I have you can see, no artifacts. Not wearing any artifacts. I'm not hitting anything. I'll just take that off. So I'm not hitting anything to buff me. Take all of these off. And so these are my straight up stats. I have 3,539 might with just gear, with 21 skill points. I only have 21 skill points allotted, 1 in my focus, 20 in critical attack. I have nothing in might, 0 skill points in might. I'm just rocking my gear. So, by the numbers we just saw, I don't know why I said that, might 3539. Okay, I'm gonna queue. Oop, I'm also not in a league. Someone brought that up. You were curious if I was getting league buffs. I am definitely not getting league buffs. I'm not in a league. So, let's queue. Gonna go to the solos. We're gonna pick a tier 1, 8th precinct. Okay, as soon as I come in the instance, and this is not an open world, this is an instance, I become a combat rating 60. My might jumps, or no, my might goes down, does it not? To 2608. So I have no skill points allotted, but if I come in a T1 solo, apparently the CR 60 jump that I'm given made my stats too high to, I don't even understand why I would need to be downscaled right there, but I am, so there's that. Okay, what I didn't realize was by taking off some of that additional stuff, our CR now is down to 35. So when we started that, we started out with still 35, 39 might. That didn't change, but our CR had gone down. So we saw a buff to the CR and a clamp to the stats. Let's try the next one. Let's do, it's hard to do T2 because you won't be able to see any of your stats. There are all these iconic missions. So we're going to skip to tier 3, Deep Desires. Alright, so here we're raised up to a CR 120. I've not changed my gear. Same gear I had on before. My CR has been buffed to 120. My might has now been buffed to 5,255. So I got a slight might buff from what I had before. Let's try the next one. Alright, so this time we're going tier 3, or tier 4, sorry. We just went tier 3. Let's go down to, ooh, the last son of Krypton.
You made it. Oracle's remotely controlling the Phantom Zone projector.
We are CR 174 now.
He and I have a literal army of enemies here. So be
no
on
gear
guard.
change. And just show every time, because I know someone's gonna say that he's changing his gear. I'm definitely not. Might 10,487. So it's pretty drastic upscaling to be able to come and do this solo mission. Well, let's check the next one. It's crazy coming back and seeing that. Combat rating 35. And let's see. Where do we go next? We're down to tier 5. Let's go to Stemming the Tide. Oh, aggressive flash. We were brought up to a 238. And also, I'm not queuing for event versions of anything. There are no event versions of anything. This is just regular. This is just if you're going to go and do the regular queue, this is what happens to you. So I'm a combat rating 35 with 21 SP. And when I come to this mission, I get handed a CR 238 and 23,257 might. Okay. Last check. We got one more tier to look at. Now we're going to go to the final tier that you can get to here. Tier 6. This is the Wonderverse. So low. What? What? I guess that's where the party train ends, folks. I am now a CR-35 with 3,539 might. So I suppose this is where they want this particular gravy train to end.
Wonderful to see.
I just want to go see what happens when I run into an ad.
Has a small stash of source wall fragments here that we will take back.
A 316 ad. I'm a CR-35. I have no loadout or anything on this toon, so this is gonna. Oh, I'm wiped. Okay, that answers that question. So the train only lasts until you get to tier 6 there, and that's not going to be doable, of course. So there it is, folks. You can pretty much walk through. Well, I didn't try to play any of those missions now, so I don't know, how easy or hard it would be to actually do the content. But from first glance, it looks like you can take a combat rating 35 and with 21 skill points and go through the entirety of the solo list until you get to T6, and then you're stopped. So stay tuned. Our next video is going to be taking a higher tier toon and doing the same thing to compare what those numbers look like, and we will go from there. If you have any comments, what you want to see looked at on the test server, let me know. And be sure to sub. Keeps me going, keeps me alive. Like the video, share it to spread the word, and we will see you on the next one. For Lyta and Bodhi, this is Var saying, play on.